Hey, top of the morning to you. Hope you're doing well this morning. I'm Michael, or as the grandkids call me, Roo. Jumped on right at 8:57. Just a little early because I run that piece just to kind of get my brain. When I hear that music, I kind of go, oh, well, where's my pens? And I start digging in my pockets and looking for everything that I've got. Hope you're doing well. It's a Tuesday morning. It's November the 30th, the last day of November 2021. Wow. Yeah. This was the day that Carol and I were married. It snowed like crazy. Uh, the next morning, December the 1st, as we were way up in the mountains of Tennessee, and I think it snowed 6, 8, 10 inches, and had a big fireplace. And there wasn't an axe in the woodpile, so I got uh, my boots on and I headed down to the ranger station and said, "Where's the axe?" And he goes, "I can't even find the woodpile." And so I chopped wood for the first few hours and made a cuppa. And it was a blessed day. It's a long time ago. Hope you got a cuppa with you, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. Maybe it's in a roux mug. That'd be nice. Mm. Um, be nice for me anyway. Well, not really. It's yeah, it would be. It'd be fun. Good. I love diner mugs. I have a collection before I even started putting the roux head on my own and getting them shipped in. I love to collect diner mugs wherever. I have Puckett's Groceries. I have little diners down in Jacksonville. I have mugs. I even have a mug that I tipped the lady and she said, "No, no, no, don't do that. Just take it." I said, "No, I'm not going to take it." I have one from the Waffle House, but it's tiny. It's a little tiny thing. Let me say good morning to you, and then I'll pop in here, and I'm gonna shift gears 1 second for you. Good morning, John Robert Small. Hope you're doing well. Bob Hendricks, Heiderich. You have to call me one day and just tell me how to pronounce your name correctly. Heidenrich. Heidenrich, man, that's more German than Han. And good morning from the stylistic cornfields of Iowa. Thank you very much. I do have on this. I've been dressing like this the last few days. White shirts come by easy, so I put on a clean white shirt, put on my vest, and I got my scarf wrapped around me because it's still cool here. It's winter thinks it's coming to Charlotte, but I heard next week it's going to be beautiful again. I will take it. But I like wearing a scarf. I went, why did I go all my life without wearing scarves when I realized, man, they keep the chill from down around your neck. And fun little project I'm working on right now. I'm writing a script for about a bomber jacket that I'm going to do for my dear friends at Buffalo Jackson. And one of the things about the bomber jacket, this one has a cotton neck. It doesn't have the big lamb's wool neck. It doesn't need those. It's more like the Rebel bomber, but it's those jackets. I'm reading about all the history, and I'm writing the script to do this little stand-up piece for them. And the jacket is really cool. And so cool as in keeps you warm. Figure that out. The language is a strange bird, isn't it? But I was thinking about that. You put your scarf on and put that jacket on. This one's got a close-knit cotton collar that keeps the chill out. Good morning, Donna Sell Barton. And so stylistic, Bob. Stay stylistic, man. Even when you're going out in the cornfield, get the boots and get the overalls fastened on just correctly. My dad was a khakis guy. He worked out in the garden in khakis. That's what Han says. That's what's on the tombstone. Some of you have seen my dad's tombstone. I keep a picture of it here. It just says Han. Let me go to the picture shot. There it is, right there. That's a flash cover. I need to get a new shot of this someday. That says Han. There's a rose there, and then there's the word right here. It says think. See, I've been at this think thing for a long time because this was on my dad's tombstone in 1970. 1992. And it says think. And my brother, he says, "What do you think he meant?" My dad had this made, and we didn't know anything about it. And when they put the casket down in the ground and pulled back the plastic grass, it was already there. And we went, "What? When did he do that? Come on!" And it said think, and we all were like, think. And then my brother finally said, "Oh, this Han's in new khakis." And that was the acronym. It wasn't really, but we've always loved it. So he was a khakis guy, so I still love my khakis. Donzel Barton, thanks for being on the show. Karen Binder, Linda Linhart, Pat Brooks, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you and your creativity. Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer, Henderson, thank you so much for being on the show. Deborah Tauber, thank you. Love it. Saw some of your artwork yesterday. Susie DeLay, welcome, Virginia man. Marion Atwood. It's Alwood, I think. Betsy Sobolowski. Snowing in southern Pennsylvania. There's no southern Pennsylvania when you live in Charlotte. That's southern. You guys are northern. So just think about that for a second. But it was snowing in Pennsylvania over the holiday because my son was up there visiting some friends. Laura Abbott. Laura, I saw a couple paintings by you yesterday that were brilliant. You are very talented. Awesome. June Jones, welcome. Beverly Schmidt. Heather Kuhlman, thank you. Dolores Bolin, Deborah Spangler, Jack Wolfenbarger, good morning to you, my dear friend. Kathy Morrow, Karen Pikert, wow. Jean Anthalzer, B. Areola says hello. B, I sent you an email back. I think you sent me one back already. Tiffany Lyons, welcome to, it's what? 28 in Bernie, California? Holy smokes, that's cold. Denise Albright, good morning to you. Hip, hip, hooray. Annette has her own Roo language she started up there in Bird Island, and I love it. It's pretty funny, actually. Makes me laugh. Linda Schleckning, yes, good morning to you. Cracked me up yesterday on the painting I did that said my tree had been flocked. It was the one with all the peeps stacked up on the tree. It makes me think of painting Christmas stories, which is what I'm kind of doing all month. So how many slots left in your acrylic class? Oh, I think that's probably not to me. I'm doing a knitting class, but I'm doing it at the same time as John does his acrylic class, if that means. I'm just kidding. All right. Jeanette Seal, Patricia Hazel, Sonny Stoffberg, Marie White from North Mississippi. See, that's south. That's way south. North Mississippi. I don't even know what North Mississippi is. So my wife spent a little time in Macomb, Mississippi. Woo. And I quill hunted one time. Well, I don't think I hunted on this trip. I went with my dad in Jackson, Mississippi, back when it was farmland. Elaine Barnett, thank you for being on the show. All right, Ann Westra, Sheila Nelson, hello everybody. Sheila's probably off the ferry. Miss Carla, welcome to the show. Commence smiling, she said. She's here. Marisol de Fluense, it's a good. Is any good brush for my grandkids? They won't horrible for me to clean up. Is there any good brush for my grandkids to use that won't be horrible for me to clean up? Marisol, yes. Don't use good hair brushes for your grandkids. Use nylon brushes. In fact, I use nylon brushes today. Most of my hair brushes are my bamboo brushes. These are mostly goat, and they are real hair brushes. The watercolor brushes that I do 99% of all my watercolor with are nylon, and they clean out really well. If you do have good hair brushes and you want to clean them out, what do you clean your hair with? A good shampoo? Ta-da! Use a good shampoo. People want to put their brushes, especially, now if you're painting with oil, then you're going to have to use some form of chemical, Gamasol, a paint remover, a simple one. And they sell some safer ones today than they used to. You don't want to smell too much of that stuff, and you don't want to get it all into your hands and under your fingernails. I do have friends who are oil painters. And in fact, Chip and I are going to see a good friend of ours who's an oil painter. And he told me to write it down. I think it's on the 7th of December. We're going to go spend a little bit of time with an oil painter. And I tell you what I might do. I might just go live from her studio. And I've done that one night. We were at an art gallery. And Janine Medlin is the artist. And so we're just going to go hang out a little bit. And I'm just going to take my own palette knife and say, okay, let's do something here. And have some fun with it. But if you're just painting with watercolor, here's the thing. Don't let them just lay the brush down and let the paint dry in it. Take it while the paint's wet and immediately wash it out. Put it under hot running water. It won't hurt the nylon. And give it a bath. And then what I do sometimes is I shake them out really well. You ever seen painters? You ever see Bob Barros clean his brushes on the palette, on the leg of the easel? Just knocks all that dirt and water out of there, shakes them like crazy. And then the Japanese hang their brushes up like this. That's why there's these little hooks on the back of them here. See, they hang their brushes up like this. We all just drop our brushes in like this, but I'll tell you, that works if you've dried the brush out. If the brush is still really wet and you put it up like this, that water drips down under the ferrule here and down into the wood, and eventually this head's going to become loose. So make sure you get the brush good and dry. So that's why I use a lot of paper towels. Paper's still cheap. Just come in and make sure it's really dry and you've gotten all the water jarred out. And look, these have been used lots of times. Look at them. They've been used hundreds and hundreds of times, and the water and the paint comes right out. If you got little grandkids, I wouldn't be letting them use oil paint, acrylic paint anyway, even though it tastes like chicken. Don't do that. So there's a little ramble about brushes. Clean them with shampoo. I wouldn't put any conditioner in them, though. I think I'd leave them a little, unless you want them really soft. Good morning from Idaho. It's Sharon Clark on the hubby's account. Well, there you go. So that's why you're Robert Clark today. I got it. Well, welcome anyway, Sharon Clark, you storyteller. Renee Keese, you are a heck of an artist, my friend. Debbie Bennett, thanks for being on the show. Burke, it's Ruse Day. Greetings from chilly Greenville. And hey, Di Depp, thank you for being on the show this morning. Tissy Chambers, good morning to an old friend from high school back in the day. Hey, thank you for being on. And I hope you're still being creative. Don't give up on all the busy work that you do. And for things around Knoxville, don't give up on you being an artist either, okay? Irene, thanks for being on the show. Jeanette Seal. All right, let's get busy here. So here we go. The first thing you got to do is think about what you're going to tell a story about, or just find something that's exciting that you want to paint. And so for me, 10 out of 10, excuse me, 1 second here. I have got a cough that's coming on. I think I muted that one, so you didn't hear it. I need another sip of. That's what I needed. Okay. Here we go. Watching from bed. Sheila says no early. I love it. Rhonda D. Hart, thank you for being on from North Faith, she says. Hey. The 8th, Chip says. Chip first says it's the 8th. Where can I get a good bamboo brush? Bonnie Frink says. Bonnie, send me your address. There. Email me at roodoodles@gmail.com. Boom, just like that. Bonnie, I don't see you on the show. I don't know if I've seen your name on the show before. If I have, I've missed it. Forgive me. But Frink, I would remember. Send me your address at roodoodles@gmail.com and say, hey, I'm Bonnie, and you said you would do this. Bonnie, I'll send you 2 good ones. I'll send you a number 3 and a number 1 SW, and I'll have Cheap Joe send those through. If you need them tomorrow, then find a good art store and see if they have Yasutoma. If they don't, Winsor Newton makes a decent brush. They make a bamboo brush also. I like the Yasutomas because I like the story and I love the history. And there is something to that, okay? But Winsor Newton's been around a long time too. The brush is going to look like this, Bonnie. It's going to look like something like this. It's going to look, the one that you're going to get, if you send me an email, it's going to look like that one and probably this one. And they're going to have a real sharp point when you get them. Why is that? Why do those brushes have very sharp points when you get them shipped in? It's because the hair has been starched, just starch, to keep it in this shape as it ships. So the first thing you want to do is wash the brush out. Put it under some warm running water. You can break it down by just putting it in your painting water, but try not to crush it. Try never to crush your brushes, okay? Unless you're an oil painter and you just love to have those times where you just go, yeah, and you're looking like you're a knight coming down the left-handed staircase of a castle, and you're fighting and you're just holding on as you go. That's fine. But I tend to use mine with a little more of a flip and keep them soft. This will come starched. It'll come at a point. Here's why. When you wet the brush, remember that was all fuzzy when look at it. It's come back to a point. And this is why after you clean the brush out and you work the brush out like this. The Japanese hang their brushes up like this and let them dry. Why? Because that comes back down to a point like so. I think you can see that my hand's in the way of one camera, but it comes down like that. It's hard to do television where Carol Merrill is now standing. Okay, so Bonnie, if you'll just send me that, you won a couple brushes today just by that question. How about that? Life is crazy sometimes, isn't it? It's Christmas. All right, so there we go. Yeah, and Laura's going to give you some, I see some other notes coming through here, what you can do. They use Dawn, then use Dawn to wash my brushes. There are soaps. They make special soaps for that. I just, from an artist that used to teach at in college in Florida, he used to teach the arts. He would always say to me, I didn't have him in any classes. He had an advertising agency, and I just worked for him creatively as a contract guy back years ago. They'd call me to weld up something goofy. He would always say, I said, man, Keith, look at all your brushes. And he goes, yep. And I said, man, they're all beautiful. And he says, wash them in shampoo. And so just a good mild soap works great. Okay, let me pop ahead. I'm going to paint something. It's 8:15. Keep the brushes out of the water bucket when the grands are painting. Yeah, they want to just pile them all back into the bucket and leave them in there. And by the way, that'll kill your brushes too. It's a good thought. People just drop their brushes down in there and you see them finish a painting thing and all the brushes are just sitting in their water like this. Don't do that. And I'll never say don't. But here's the thing, unless you just feel like you want to buy new brushes all the time, you're soaking the wood, you're getting everything in there wet that doesn't need to be wet. And so don't do that. Just take them out of there, dry them well, clean them off, soften them up, even rub them with your hands if you want to, put them back into shape. Do a little sculpting on the end of the brush and drop them back in your container. All right, let's move on. I love answering questions like that. Am I an official on any of that? No, but I can tell you what I do. That I've got brushes in here that I've had since I started painting 10 years ago, and I've got some downstairs that the paint is blown. Look at these right here. Look at those three. They hardly have any paint. Look at these. Cheap Joe's has sent me some new ones to have, but look at this. These have no paint left on them here, just from me. When I first started, this is kind of how I held my brushes, but most of this paint is gone because I'm whacking them on the jar to get paint and water out of them. But these are great brushes that I push off to my grandkids because they don't care if there's a little roughness in the handle, and I don't care if they jam them into the artwork. So that's what I do too. I wouldn't ever put a $30, $40, $50 brush, and these don't cost that, but they are $8 to $12 to $17 to $20. I think this brush right here is probably, this brush should probably be $70. So those of you who think, hey, at this brush right here, take a look at it. You see that brush right there that looks like it's just really crooked, and I push it this way, it stays that way. You know why? It's because it needs a bath with shampoo. It's because when I did biscuits the other day, I used it to paint butter on. In fact, I'm throwing it over there on the floor right now, and I'll take it down and run it through the Dawn soap detergent. All right, here we go. Hello from Scotland. Sheena Watson, blessings to you from Scotland. If I could speak with the accent, I would, but my wife was a McKibben, and so we know about our son is Grant, and we've both participated in the Highland Games back when I was a young man and could throw the stone and the hammer, not the hammer, but he did the hammer. I didn't do the caber toss. No, there's no way they're going to get me to do that. But thank you for watching this morning from Scotland. It's afternoon over there, I guess. Has anyone received the brushes that they won on the show? Jackie's going, yeah, I haven't, but several people have. It takes a while because they come through Cheap Joe's art store, and when those guys are piled in at the holidays, it takes a while. But yes, they will come. I've got you on a list. I keep you on a list, and I'll make sure that you get those brushes, okay? If you don't, you let me know, and I will stay on them until they come to you. I had a limit of brushes that they sent me. They didn't send them directly to me because they knew I couldn't get them out in the mail. But that's the story on that. Okay. Hey, let me paint something. Good grief. Thanks for being on. What a fun morning to check in. There's Tom. He's on from the chilly coast of Maine. Hey, brother, good to have you on the show. Love your sketching. Keep doing the stuff that you do. He goes out sketching groups. He's so architectural. It's so fun seeing that. Okay, man, a lot of people piling on this morning. Just a ton of folks here, and everybody's saying hi. All right, Pat Lightbody, thanks for the purchase. Ruth Gitge, is it Gitge? Gitge? I have no idea. Still waiting from September. Jackie. All right, Jackie, I got a note. All right, that's not good. So let me put that down. Didn't know you were still waiting. But hey, listen, don't ever just ask somebody else. Ask me. Send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. I'll settle it one way or the other. The other morning, I had a gentleman who said, hey, my wife hasn't received her painting. And I said, have her send me an email with and double check the address. I still haven't received that email. So send me that email and I'll run it down. So this is Jackie Wallace. Jackie, send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. Let me check your address and send me your address and say brushes, and I'll see to it that I'll look you up. I've got a list that I keep over here. I write them down after the show. In fact, they're on my computer. Can't get to it right now. All right. Here we go. Hey, let's paint a Christmas story. Let me put some music on and let's get going here. Thanks for all the questions this morning, and let's make something happen. So I think what I wanted to do is paint something on mixed media paper, just because it's smooth. It's a little raucous. It's so much more slicker than a cold pressed paper or even a hot pressed paper. It's almost, it feels like a little bit of it does have a vellum surface. There's why. It's got a vellum surface. This is pretty thick paper. It's 184 pound. So it's good heavy paper. It's not great watercolor paper. It's better for markers and pens and things like that. But if you put watercolor on it, you know it's going to take off. It's going to go somewhere. So I had an idea for a painting that I want to take off. And I'm going to use a pencil just to get in the ballpark here and see if it's going to work. I don't know why I'm sketching with a pencil. I could probably just do this with a pen and be done with it. Why don't I? Here we go. Woke up and thought this would make a funny little story. And it happens every time I have my grandkids over here. This happens. This music is by a guy by the name of Lincoln Davis, and I don't have the name of it listed on here. This is some of the music that I buy from a company called Soundstripe, and I like their style. They're Okay, so there's the start of it right there. You see there's coffee cup, a cup up. There's a, looks like a drum, but I think it's going to be a marshmallow. And I thought of this the other day because my wife bought, Carol, the bon vivant, she she bought these marshmallows that they looked like they were bigger than the mouth of the cup. They were like, I think they're these some more campfire marshmallows. I'm thinking, I just wanted some milk chocolate, hot chocolate. I like milk chocolate, not dark chocolate. I like milk chocolate, hot chocolate. And I wanted to put a marshmallow in there, but I was going like, I'm going to have to take my knife out or my scissors and trim the marshmallow to get it in the cup. And it made me think of trying to get it down in a cup, which made me think of if the Peeps were fixing a cup of hot chocolate and they've rigged up some system to get the marshmallow into the cup, then you know what's all going to happen when that breaks loose, right? So let's see if we can spray these colors and get a little bit of, I'm just going to wet these colors down just a little bit here. So I'm just sort of spraying a little bit of atomizer on here. This is a American Journey misting bottle. You know why? No, it mist. This is really what they give you when they take you to Niagara Falls, and they just give you a bottle to get misted with, I think. Anyway, I'm just making stuff up. Okay. Hey, speaking of brushes, I'm just going to use a regular brush this morning. Here we go. And just going to go in here and grab a little bit of water and some French gray. Let me move all these pins over and put my colors over here so you can see that a little bit more. These are American Journey paints. They come in tubes like this. For those of you who just joined the show, I buy these from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff, American Journey. This is Red Hot Mama. This is Halloween Orange. I just had these over here because I had to fill up the pans in here. So I fill up these pans. I work really hard at keeping this pristine. So every time I use a color, before I go back into another color, I rinse out my brush, I take a paper towel, and I clean it out like so, boom. And that's the other thing that you can do. Teach your grandkids to do this. Teach them that if they just go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and they keep doing this, in about 15 minutes, everything in here is going to be brown. It's just going to be kind of a reddish, brownish, greenish, uglyish mud. Oh, mud. That's going to be the color. And so that's the story. A little bit of French gray up here, just a tad. I like French gray for the coffee cup. Well, why wouldn't I? Take a look. That's about as close as I can get to the color of my coffee mug. It's just a French gray. Whoops, I almost dipped that in my coffee mug. Which, by the way, tea paints really well. There's nothing wrong with that. So just that I'm not ready to paint tea this morning. And I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and just put a little bit of yellow in this one right here because I want it to react. So let's see what happens. And these are the Peeps. They're all making a cup of hot chocolate. And their goal, of course, is to get the marshmallow into the chocolate. See, painting should be a story. This is how you hook the grandkids if you want them to paint. Say, hey, could you paint me a flower? And you go, no. Okay, then paint me a flower telling a story to the bee. And maybe they would say, do you mean the bee telling a story to the flower? And you go, no. It's the other way around. Saying, hey, I've got an itch right here. Could you come in and get the spot right here? And the bee's going, yeah, I got to get that for you. You have to let your mind just think like an artist and go about telling a story. What happens is when you put together a story, you don't have to paint everything in the story. I don't have to paint the chocolate wrappers, and I don't have to paint the hot water kettle, and I just have to paint the scene that I see in my mind, and then let their mind make up the rest of the story. Oh, what if there was a Peep with an umbrella? See, I didn't know I was going to put that umbrella in there, but then I just thought, what if one of these comes prepared? He goes, I've done this before. So that's why he has an umbrella. And so the concept is, I'm not saying that you can't paint a beautiful landscape, but I'm going to tell you, when I was up in Maine and I was painting those little islands, and lobsters, I was looking for everything that was lobster and island and water splash and how to do it. And I was finding myself immersed in this story. And so it makes my life come together. That's why it was fun to have lunch with Tom. Tom's on the show this morning. And sit in that Sea Dog pub and brewery there and just talk about lobsters and why would you paint lobsters? Well, they're funny. They're just funny looking. And that works into his whimsical style of art too. And yet he has this other side that's architectural, kind of like Jason. Jason has this architectural side, but he can't let go of his whimsical side where he just paints these little creatures down in there and his dog and his rabbits and all that stuff. And so if you paint the story, you wind up with this painting that people go, oh, I get that. And that's the connection point. Is there anything we should do? Why would we go to a movie theater to watch a movie if the story doesn't feel like it's going to connect us? We don't. And we go, I don't like that movie. Why not? Well, it's just one car crash after another. It had no point. It was just Hollywood just decided that they would blow up $150 million by wrecking cars. You go like, yeah, but was there a plot? Oh, there's supposed to be a plot. Okay, so you see where I'm headed here with this just a little bit? I just wanted to react and be just a tad different, okay? That's kind of what I'm after when I'm painting a story. So that's kind of how this thing works for me. All right. This piece of music, I think, sounds like it's going to build up to be the piece that I'm looking for here to kind of make the crescendo happen. A little smaller brush here, get up in here and just paint a couple of these little pulleys. Just touch a little red in there. That'll just help the eye find those. So what I did here, I did these little pieces up here. They have bolts in them. The marshmallow is going to be white, I think, and we're going to talk. I don't keep a lot of white on the palette. Take a look. You see it? This is buff titanium. That's fridge gray. There, right in the corner, right here, just in its own little place, is a little bit of titanium white. Usually, I just let the paper be the white, but in this case, I want some marshmallow white that I'm just going to put there, and I'll show you why I put it there right now and let it stay wet. Because before I'm done with that, I'm going to take a bigger brush, if I can find one. Here's one. And I'm going to go get some brown. And I'm going to go right here. Now, you know what? I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of, paint this umbrella first. Okay? That brush over there. Let me get this umbrella. And just a little Terry Tardy turquoise on the umbrella. I think that'd be a good color for this umbrella. Nope. Little crescendo building up here. There's a little umbrella. Could get the beaks of these. Well, I think that piece of music just quit. I had high expectations of that when I purchased it. Hey. Okay, so here we go. So there's the start of my little painting. Come in here, maybe just put some little tail feathers on this little root peep here. He's the one that's supposed to be in charge. He's up on the post. He's got his hand up saying, no! This guy does too, so let's see what happens now. Here we go. We're going to go in here, and we see the marshmallow coming down. Look, you see the string. He's not holding the string to let it down slowly. You know what that means, right? That means that somebody hasn't done their job well. And so we're going to go in here, and we're just going to pile some brown up right here, just like this. Just some brown on top of that white that I put in there. And then we're going to just let this go out here. A little more of that. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. That's a lot. And then I'm going to... here's a straw. Watch this. I'll just use a straw. That works. Okay, now, a little Christmas music happening there. Little paper towel. I want that marshmallow to come through just a little bit, so that means I'm going to have to do a little erasing right here. There it is. And then we're going to go back in with a little bit of this smaller brush and drop a little of that titanium white back in on top of the marshmallow right there. There it is right there. And now we just see it starting to melt and run down. And that's where I'm letting the water do the melting and the spill for me, as opposed to me trying to paint the water. So I think this is probably a little heavy for me right here. I'm going to take some of that out right there. Perfect. Ooh, that looks good. Now I'm going to wet this brush with a little bit of this chocolate right here and do a splatter coming out this way. And I love those little splatters that blew out there from that. Tapping it on my hand. Now I can go back and just create the rest of my story here. Let's put a little more yellow in here. I wanted some yellow to show up in these peeps before I splattered them because I didn't know how that was going to work. So I don't even need to show this one's face anymore. You know he's there, but he's covered up. And I like the fact that this cup has a little bit of a hot chocolate ring around it already. That's a little dark and a little red, but we'll take it out by doing that right there. I just reached over in there and grabbed the wrong paint. That was as simple as that. Sometimes you just mess up. And I got real close to doing it right there. But a little bit of green. They're still outside. At least they've made the mess outside. And so that's what I'll tell the grandkids. The next time you put your marshmallow that Yaya gave you that's as big as in front of the cup, take it outside and get the hammer and pound it in the cup that way. And so they tend to start, "You're crazy, Roo." And I go, "Yes, I know that." And that's the fun part about living with us. And you guess what? All of this stuff cleans up. So you know what? If you spill it like that, what's the big deal? So for me, I get this little story that may not have anywhere to be, but maybe just in a relationship with the kids and telling the story. Renee says, okay, those are called campfire marshmallows. Yes. And you know, this year I made a machine that roasts several marshmallows at one time. I made it out of bicycle cranks. If you'd like to see it, it's on the Discovery. Is it Discovery? No, it's on, yeah, I think it is Discovery Plus. Is that what it is? Discovery Plus is on the Magnolia Network. It's on a show called Super Dad. And so Super Dad gives the family a gift to roast marshmallows, and they can't have a normal campfire in this tent situation where they are, this camp situation. And so I build them something that roasts them over gas flames, which you can do, by the way, because there's nothing wrong with roasting over propane. It is a clean fuel to cook on. Did all the research for television and all that, but I got to build some fun things like that. So I think this does need a little bit of spill coming down this way too, as spills would happen all over the place and explode. So there it is. That's a pretty fun little painting that has to do with Christmas. And I think there has to be a reason they let go. So how's this a Christmas painting? Okay, watch. Here it is. I think this has to be bright so it catches your eye. So we're going to drop a little red paint right here on the side like this. Drag it down. Maybe over to there. Clean out this brush just with a light damp brush. I'm coming in now with a dry brush. Just dry this over and look. I've got this little Christmas bulbs that appears. Maybe put just a touch of gray right here on the little top of it, the head of it. And this little guy right here is going, ooh, shiny. I think you spell shiny without an E, but I kind of like it like that. Okay, I don't spell, okay? This is a toy painting anyway. So here we go. So that gives you an idea. Ooh, shiny. And so for me, that's my fast brain. It's like, oh, squirrel. And so that would be, in fact, a squirrel would be a great way to do this. So you could do that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to dry this out one more time right here in the middle, right there. Dry that out. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go get some more of that titanium white. And I'm going to beef up this marshmallow one more time. Ooh, he came back in there. And now you see the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. There's the marshmallow all tied in with a little bit of string. Could have painted that string, but make it look like more of a string. There it is right there. Now you see the marshmallow going down into the cup, and you get the concept of what happened. Ooh, shiny. Okay. caught my son drawing a Michael type creation of mechanics in church. He's going to love his Hot Chocolate Factory. Yeah. And I love Rube Goldberg, And so I saw the note here. It says, we drink a lot of hot chocolate and watch Hallmark movies this time of year. Yeah, Hallmark is like the cheese is about 7 feet thick, but it's just a kind of a feel-good story. And so if I watch a Hallmark movie, what do I watch it for? Do I watch it for the deep plot? No, you can guess that in a heartbeat. Somebody loses their job and goes back to their hometown or their city. Somebody it goes back because they have to deliver something, and then they bump into someone because their suitcase gets run over by a train. I mean, it's all the same plot. The point is, we follow those stories because we have this hope of connections happening in our life, and we also want to see if we can have a story like that comes to place in our own lives where things happen. The only way that stories come to part is when you make them happen. Carol says people are waiting to celebrate. We just have to give them an opportunity. Some people won't take it on their own just to go celebrate. So we kind of live a raucous life sometimes. And to some people, it's just crazy. You people just never stop. And we go, we will stop when we're dead. But now we're alive. And so we're just going to say, hey, let's have a party. So what consists of a party? I'd say a party is when Chip comes over and he brings some coffee, and we make coffee, or I make tea, and we put biscuits in the oven, and we burn oranges in cast iron, and we have a party, and we laugh. We talk seriously. A party is when your friends invite you to an ice skating rink, and you go, I don't ice skate. I should not have but I got a coffee cup, and I got my painting stuff with me, and I go and I just hang out. And if there's laughter and noise, and if it's too noisy, guess what I always have in one of my inside pockets? In fact, they're in my other jacket. Boom, a couple earplugs. It doesn't cut me off, but it kills some of the ancillary noise, and I just go on. And so celebrate life. And that's what Christmas is about. There's my painting. There's my story, okay? Have you ever had marshmallows with chocolate in the middle? Bonnie Freak says, no, but that defeats the purpose. I'm just kidding. All right. Bonnie, you're supposed to send me an email when this show's over, okay? Ruth says she has a hand frother. Wow, is it froth up milk or chocolate or whatever? Yeah, I love those little things, actually. So I've worn out a couple of them, the battery-operated ones. So we're coffee snobs. I'm a tea snob. I drank 40 different kinds of tea before I discovered Builder's tea from Britain, and also Thai food tea, extra strong. So I drink a lot of coffee. Well, I drink a couple cups of coffee a week, but I drink tea probably 3 times a day. Me and the Queen, we have a cup of tea every afternoon. All right, little music, and let's do another painting here. I got time. So would you get your painting to tell a story? Would you do that this week during Christmas? If you sit down with family, just say, oh, that's a story. So that's the Hallmark thing. I was going down the trail. I watch them to say, that's a good storyline. That's perfect. I didn't see that coming. Most times I do. You always have that point where they meet, and there's this, and then there's that point where they have that little spat, and then there's tears, and then you go, oh, no, it's over. It's not over because the people wouldn't stand for it on the channel if it were over. But there's some fun little movies out there, and I love the way it works. I love when the plot shifts just a little bit, and I like to think, what would I do there? How would I build that? Where would I go? And because my son was in television, and I've worked some in TV and film, it's fun to say, how would you tell that story? And Carol is an unbelievable storyteller, not on stage like I've had the ability to do, but in her mind, she'll go, well, that's going to be that, and that person's boom. And so if she's scrolling down through the channels and she sees the movie National Treasure on, it's like everything stops. I mean, if we're on the sofa, it's like the sofa, you're going to get whiplash. Boom. You go, honey, you've seen this only 42 times. 43 sounds like the right number. And so Why do we get hooked on it? Because the storytelling is superb. And you go, I don't like that movie. Watch the story. Watch the pieces that connect to the pieces that connect the people to the other pieces, and you suddenly go, "Wow, that's writing for me. That's storytelling. That's good humor. That's a good use of it." All right, use that in your painting. Use it with your family. Use it with your school kids. Use it with your grandkids. Use it with your own kids. Use it in your own mind when you sit down to do a painting. And then you'll see that little island come to life. What if I were sailing toward that island? What would I see most in those trees? When I'm out walking to find a Christmas tree, I told you a story yesterday about Christmas trees. While I'm painting one, you go, why does he paint his Christmas trees like that? And you go, because these are the scraggly trees that I cut down with my pocket knife the first 10 years of our marriage. That was my goal, was to take my pocket knife out and cut down the tree with a pocket knife. It wasn't on the news. Nobody wrote about it. It was just my own personal badge that I went, cut that down with my pocket knife. Just because I could. Might do it again this year. All right. Hey, listen. I just saw Pat's post pop up here, and it reminded me, noodle doodle fiddle piddle. I went into the Amazon yesterday, and I reduced the price for the month of December. Just if you want to give it as a Christmas gift, I put it down to $15.95. Boop, and I think it ships free in the next couple of days. So that's cheaper than you can buy it from me, because I have to pay the shipping to get it here, then I have to pay the shipping to get it to you. So if you want to own that book, you can go to Amazon.com. How do I find it? Just type in Amazon, and in the browser type in, ready for this? Noodle doodle fiddle piddle. Boom. It pops up. Michael Hahn, Pat Brooks. It's right there. So it's $15.95 just for the month of December. So if you're, and Pat and I get rich off that. I figured it out yesterday. I think we get $2 a book, Pat. So I'm having a hot dog with my money. What about you? At the 7-Eleven, I get a hot dog and a drink for $2. I think it's $2.05. So that nickel won't hardly pay the tax. There we go. Hey, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is on sale on Amazon.com right now for Christmas. What's the book about? It's 35 sayings that all have a point to drive you toward telling the story and connecting with art and using it as a tool to teach art to other people with. Not just art, but just kind of a way of life too. All right. Man, I'm talking a lot today, huh? Well, I told you about a story. All right, so that was kind of fun. I'm thinking that if we're talking about art, I need to do a rooster this morning, so let me just paint a little rooster here. Here it comes right here. I'm just going to paint it. Yeah, I'm going to paint it on this side of the paper, and I see a little bit of hot chocolate spilling out there. I'm just going to let it stay there, okay? Suzanne, thanks for making my day brighter. My daughter and I at the Cleveland Clinic for a few weeks. She's had surgery. Okay, well, I pray she recovers well and you all smile through the process. And I hope you have time to do some art while you're there, both of you, and tell stories to one another and draw something, even if it's just wacko. Draw it. And then people who come in your room, even the nurses and the doctors, get them to guess what it is or have them draw something for you too. So thank you for letting me know that. Okay. All right, here we go. I think this would be a fun little painting right here if I could pull it off. Let's see. Need a little rooster here like so. He's looking over this way. I think I might have messed up already. Let's see, because I just had this idea. And there's his tail feathers. Just going to go drop in a little bit like that. Just kind of one of my regular roos just standing around. But he's got this foot up here. And he's holding on to something. I think you can see that right there. And here's what he's holding on to. This is just a story. Sometimes these stories pop in my head as I wake up in the morning. And there's my bucket. You know, I always put Christmas trees in buckets. It's just what I do. You can put them in anything you want. Doesn't matter. Whether it's coal hod, a wash tub, I did put a tree in a wash tub one year when we lived in the metropolis of Weaverville, North Carolina, just 13 miles north of Asheville. We put this tree in a wash tub, and it had a ball of roots on it. And I actually, at the end of Christmas, carefully undecorated the tree. I think that's the term. And took it outside and dug a hole and planted it. And it did so well at the corner of the house. And Christmas came around the next year, and I dug that thing up, took it back in, and had the Christmas tree, same tree 2 years in a row, huh? And then I went and planted it again, and in about 4 months it died. But man, for a while it was a good story. I was going for 3, and I didn't get it. That would have been fun. All right, I think you see where I went with that story. Okay, sometimes when you need a little help getting that star up on the tree, and the little kids always want to put it up there, and they just can't reach it. And you know they're going to mess it up big time if they try. So you just have to pull the tree over a little bit, and make it happen. So that's kind of how that works. This is a bamboo. This actually is a 0. I think it's not a number 1. Just dancing with these back tail feathers here. Don't try to paint every little feather that you draw. It's probably not going to look like the rooster anyway, especially as he turns around and the wind blows. So don't worry about it too much. Just have fun with what you're doing there. And don't fill in all the spaces. Leave some holidays. That's going to be in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. One of the first things I taught on this class. My dad called them holidays because I was such a bad painter. He said, hey, you left a holiday in the wall. And I would say, holidays are good for people. He goes, yeah, they're not good for painters. I go, maybe they are. And so I stand by it today that holidays make your watercolor look loose. Let me show you one. See it right there? There it is. Look at this. That is a holiday. That's the white paper showing through. That's an open space. That's a place for the paint to take a break, relax. It's a holiday. Got a lot of yellow in this painting. Need a little bit of turquoise down in here. I love turquoise in roosters. I like a little bit of green in the feathers too. I think that's a good look. And I love a little bit of violet. I just think that brings on some great color. And I like this rusty red right here. Maybe he's in the Rhode Island red family, but he has a little bit of a yellow head. That's a cool looking rooster, even if I did paint it myself. So all these just turn out to be differently because it's so different because, well, I never know where I'm going to go with them. Now I'm just going to dance this brush down through here on some of this pen, and my hope is that some of this pen breaks up. I saw a note yesterday where, was it from Renee or someone who said, whoa, I've been using the Kakuno pen and I've just figured out how to get the bleed perfectly so that I get that black in there, those dark greens that are hidden back in the shadows. It's not that the tree's black. It means that the shadowing back in there is taking a darker turn, and sometimes that ink will do just that. It'll mix with that green color, especially if you get the brush to it while it's still just a tad wet, and that'll let that bleed. Now, if you're using carbon ink like Tom uses up in Maine, that's in these pens, in these Preppies, or even the carbon, one of these refills here, they have ball bearings in them. This is carbon ink. Carbon ink will dry faster than Speedball ink or Lamy ink or Kakuno ink. Yes, you got to keep up with all those different inks. They're not outrageously expensive. So when you're buying them, don't just buy one. Buy like 5 or 10. Not the pens, but the refills. And if you don't like them, you've wasted $5, $6 maybe. You haven't wasted it really, because you're going to use it in other places. You might not use it in your art the way you thought you were going to, but that doesn't stop anything from what happens. So what you need to do is, I'm painting like a Renaissance painter now, through the blur of not having my glasses on. There they are. Ooh, yeah. That's how impressionistic start. That's my theory. That's how impressionistic art really got its start. They painted in dark rooms and they couldn't see anyway. Ben Franklin made some spectacles, but some of these guys were painting years before that, and so they couldn't see. So they're going like, that looks great to me. We're realist painters, aren't we? No, we're impressionistic. We're just making an impression of what we thought that was. I love the concept of that thought. Makes me laugh every time I think of it. What did I do there? I just took my stylus pen, which, by the way, I don't think they make this pen anymore. Sorry, I pulled that out. This is a stylus. It's made by Yasutoma, but they've replaced it. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Still freaking out about my flock tree purchase. Pat, thank you so much. I love it. Send me an email and I'll get it to you. That's pretty funny. Linda called it the flock tree. It was pretty hilarious. I thought it was great. All right, so I need a little yellow orange here and a little white. A little yellow over here and a little white. And I'm going to go in because I just wanted this star to be just a little lighter as it goes in. I didn't want it to be as dark as my peep up there because I didn't want it to compete with the peep. And so we'll go in and do it just like that. Still got about 5 minutes to go here this morning. So now you can see what's happening. I've got this story that shows what's happening here in the decorating department. I think what I'm going to do is put a little box here like this. And I'm going to put some ornaments in the box like so. Yeah, that's going to look pretty good. And I think I want that box to be, here, look at this. Watch this. Ready for this? You see what I'm doing here? Just move my teacup over there. Let me move it over here so it doesn't shadow the painting. Just dip my brush in my tea right there. And I'm going to paint this box with some tea. There, look at that. That's a good cardboard box color right there. That's all it needs. Just need a little tea. And these are not toxic. It was a clean brush when I dipped it anyway. Okay. And we need a little red on this one. Maybe another red one right down here. Need a little bit of yellow back in here. We'll do this one in yellow. I'm just painting one side of these Christmas balls. Just one side, people. Just one side. And I need a violet one here. And let's paint it like that. Now watch this. I'm going to go in with a clean brush, dry brush, and just, oops, I left one out. And just push that other paint over. Just like so, like that. Why would I do that? Because that shading, that contrast shading makes them look spherical as opposed to just flat. Ta-da! And I think I need one that's just outrageous. Oh, there it is right there. A little bit of rose. All right, and so let's just add a couple more things to this Christmas painting here. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm going to blow that up just a little bit in the last couple minutes here. Here we go. Let's take that right there. Let's see if I can focus on this right here. Let me lay my pen on that to just get a focus. All right, I think that'll help a little bit. Let's see if it will. Yeah, I think that's, you can probably see what I'm doing here. Last little bit of music here. What was that music you guys loved? I'll play it again. Right here it is, I think. Yeah. All right, let's go in here with a little brush and put in a couple little lights here. I do them in twos, that way I don't have to dip my brush time and time again. There's one, there's a red one. And let's go in and put a nice little yellow bulb over here. Put a yellow bulb down there. Let's put a turquoise bulb in. There's one right there. There's one right there. Let's put a kind of an olive green in. That's a different color. That's one that'll get lost in the tree. I'm just doing one of those. Let's see here. Let's do a violet one right here. Boop, boop, boop. Let's do white bulb. See those sometimes. Boink. There it is. And let's do one that's lavender. Put it right there. And then maybe, I think it just needs one more red to make it pop. So we're going to put a red one, right? I don't have another one drawn. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Okay. All right. All right. Now come back in over that pen that I put in there and let it bleed. Just touch a little bit of green for this story here. There you go. I'm done. Put a little more blue in there because that faded out. I used a lot of water in there. And I'm going to touch a little more yellow right here before I say see. Uh-oh. That's all right. I'm going to leave that in there. See there? Didn't clean up my brush as well as I thought. I hit a black strip over there on the edge of my water jar. And so that's okay. I'll take that and shadow that wattle in with it just like that. I like it. Put some little bit of grass in here like this, some rounds in the bucket, maybe a little bent part on the box. There's a little flap coming over there right here, a little flap. Okay, so there you go. There it says, we're good, Dad. Okay, so that's your that's how you get a Christmas tree decorated when you're out in the woods and you don't have a you don't have a ladder. You just let Pops pull it over. So there you go, folks. That's it. Shh. Hey, it's been fun being with you today. Amazon.com, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is up. I still have mugs in the store. You can find those at Roodoodles.com and have some bug out bags if you're looking for something to put your painting supplies in as you take a little travel. Paint supplied by Cheap Joe's American Journey Paints. Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. Merry Christmas to those guys. And listen, if you have not received your brushes yet, send me a note and I will see to it that I'll send those guys another note and rush them. And, you know, it's a giveaway thing that, yeah, it takes the back seat to them doing business, but you still should have them. And so, because I've given them away and they've given them to me to give away. I'm not holding them because I have a stack that I purchased from them, and then they sent me a handful too. So how fun is that? I appreciate it when other people help other people do art, and that's my goal here. I will hopefully see you Saturday morning. Meanwhile, I got a busy week. I got friends coming over for dinner. Got a couple projects to do. Got a couple paintings to finish. Finished most of my, I think I have 2 more video shoots to do before the end of the year. So love it. Appreciate you being a part of this, always with me. Let's see. Last time for questions. Love the way you mix your art tips, storytelling, painting, make me laugh. Thank you, Patricia Evans. Find a way to paint watercolor. Find more than a boring way to paint watercolor. Yeah. If you're bored with what you're painting, well, it's time you painted something else, okay? Or maybe you should go out and paint a barn one time. You paint that, you come back in and go, "Ooh, this paper looks nice. I could paint this." All right. Sandra Connor, thanks for jumping on. You can catch more of it later. Look, it doesn't take much to just create a little Christmas painting. And so here's the first one this morning. It was, shiny. Oh, shiny. And I think it's dropping the marshmallow down. What I could do to come in here, just another second longer, is go back in there, get some of that white, and just drop it right back in on that marshmallow one more time. And then drop a little bit of the splatter up in there too. Watch this, going back for a little bit of the brown, just touching it right there. And now I have this white and I have this watery area on top that looks fantastic. It looks real to me. Not that it's supposed to look real because I'm a illustrative artist, but I love the feel of that. Okay. All right. So happy Tuesday to you all, and blessings for being on the show. Hey, thanks for sharing my show. Let people know that I'm on, and that helps me. That helps Facebook know what we're doing, and also just helps keep the wheels rolling that I show up. I am thinking about what I'm going to do come January, a little bit of a different twist, how much I'm going to paint, what I'm going to paint, and that sort of thing. So I'll keep you posted on all that as I find it out. I'm out of here. See you Saturday, Lord willing. If anything happens in the art world before then, I'll jump on. I might post this painting this morning just on the Facebook page. Really fair, inexpensive price, and let them go as a Christmas painting. I do like this. All right, here we go. Take a sip of your coffee or tea and think about who you're going to contact today and just encourage them. Would you do that right now? Looked at my wall. I got it.